Field Diary of Lily, a medic upon the moving force of Britannia, Royal Medical Corps. Entry 1, March 2nd, 1911. The air stinks of salt, scorched oil, and sanctified incense. We made landfall in the early hours, not that I saw it. One doesn't witness the fortress making contact with the shore so much as feel it. A slow, bone-deep hum began sometime after midnight, like the growl of a sleeping god waking from uneasy dreams. Then came the screeching thunder of gears the size of the cathedral bells, the venting of the steam in 10,000-ton breaths, and the juddering lurch that signaled we had arrived wherever here is. No one told me how loud it would be. I served on hospital ships, trench outpost, even once in the converted abbey during the siege of Hull, but nothing compares to this. The fortress isn't a place, it's a world, a continent of steel and sanctified wrath, crawling slowly across the face of England like some colossal beast from the scripture. She's made of war and war alone, and every corridor, turret, and chapel sings the truth. Even the infirmary has iron buttresses and hydraulic braces, as if the ship expects us to continue surgeries while under fire, which I now know and now understand is exactly what is expected. They call it the Mercy deck where I'm stationed, but mercy is rationed here, just like morphine and clean water. There are too many wounded and not enough of us. The moment we docked near Whitby, the stretcher lines began forming. A bomber squadron had gone down 2 nights ago, not shot but cursed, according to the surviving pilot who wouldn't stop muttering about wings of black fire and shrieking wind serpents. Of the 12 craft, only 5 returned. I triaged 16 men by dawn. 6 went straight to surgery. 3 died before the chapel bells rang from the matins. One of them, Sergeant Joseph, clung to me as we loaded him into the ward. His chest was half gone, but he held a rosary so tightly that his fingers had fused around the beads. I told him it was all right, that he could let go. He said he wasn't holding on for himself, he was holding on for us, that if he let go, something else would come through. He died with his eyes open. I tried to close them, but they wouldn't shut. We covered him with linen shroud, blessed it, and pushed the gunnery toward the holy furnace for cremation. There is no room to keep the dead aboard. Above us, the Knights of St. George drilled without rest. Their chanting and blade practice echoes through the hall. There are angels in armor. No, not angels. Angels don't leave bloody footprints when they return from the front. One of them came in today, Sir Tank Dempsey, I think. His helm was split in 2, and a ruin had been carved into the side of his neck by heretic hands. I've never seen a man pray so feverishly as he bled. There is talks that we'll be moving again by week's end. The heretics are testing our resolve, prodding the coast like blind worms searching for soft flesh. But they won't find it, not while Britannia moves. Sometimes I forget we are still on the sea, or the land, or anything at all. The fortress becomes your horizon, a world made of decks, steam, steel, and scars. Yet as I write this, I hear the gulls outside. I catch the finest whiff of brine through the vent gates. We are still in England. I must remind myself to keep myself sane. Entry 2, March 5th, 1911. We are in motion again. The fortress, Leviathan that she is, never moves quickly, but when she moves, the world must accommodate her. Trees splinter, cliffs collapse, villages tremble in her wake like reeds in the storm. She carves a path through Albion as though ordained to do so by the crown of the heavens. Every inch forward feels like prophecy in progress. I spent most of the day in Surgery Bay Delta, just off the port flank. It's a converted space originally meant for torpedo storage. Now it's our trauma triage overflow. The corks still jut from the walls in places, coated with soot and copper dust. We hang prayer sheets over them, not for cleanliness, but for comfort. A new batch of wounded arrived by lifter injured this morning. 6 airmen pulled from the wreckage of a downed dogfighter squadron. They had been returning from a battle over heretic-infested waters near Hartpool when their engines failed mid-air. Only 3 survived the fall. One lad couldn't have been older than 17, had both legs mangled to a pulp. I held his hand as the surgeon worked. He didn't cry out, just kept whispering, "Did we win? Did we win?" over and over, like it was the only thing that kept his heart beating. I didn't have the heart to tell him we did not always know. Victory is measured differently aboard Britannia, not by land taken or ships sunk, but by how long we can keep the heretics from taking one more piece of our land. In that measures, yes, we win. We win every time. We do not die screaming beneath the poisoned sky. At dusk, I found my way to the upper gangplanks to breathe. Above me, the Knights of the Air performed a funeral flyover. Their contrails drew 3 iron crosses in the sky, burning red with the last light of the day. I watched in silence, holding the name list of the dead in one hand and a candle in the other. When I returned below, the wax had burned my palm, but I hadn't felt it. The pain came later. One of the chaplains told me I looked tired. I laughed, not out of rudeness, but because I had forgotten what rested eyes even looked like. There is no stillness on Britannia, only the rhythm of duty, and in the rhythm we live. Entry 3, March 8th, 1911. Something happened last night, the kind of thing no one talks about above a whisper. A heretic infiltrator was found aboard, or what remained of one. The Knights say he was some kind of sorcerer spy smuggled aboard disguised as a wounded prisoner. They found him in the stasis ward, whispering words that made the air bleed. When the guards approached him, he began vomiting blood that crawled up the walls like it had a mind of its own. Sir Nikolai, a night purifier, dealt with him. I didn't see the act itself, but the screams lasted long after they said he was dead. They sealed the ward afterward, burned everything, even the beds, even the blessed sheets. 3 of my patients from the room were moved into the triage bay. They are silent now, too silent. One of them, Corporal Rain, just stares at the ceiling, murmuring the Lord's Prayer backwards. We are not trained for this, not truly. Medical school never taught me how to diagnose the soul. I confess today, I told Father Bellamy that I sometimes doubt what we are doing here. Not the cause, never the cause, but the cost. Every limb lost, every eye burned by the heretic's fire, every soldier with the mind chewed through by things we dare not name. How long can we keep paying this price before we become like the things we fight? He says something that struck with me. If Britannia did not bleed, she would not be alive. Maybe that's it. Maybe this fortress, this god engine of smoke and thunder needs our pain to keep moving. And maybe that's why we remained inside her body and spirit. Because if she ever stops, if we ever stop, England ends. Tomorrow we move again. Rumors of Beachhead being dug by heretic monks. They are building something, altars of flesh, the scouts say. I'll be needed in the forward triag. I've packed my satchel. I've said my prayers. I have 1 vial of morphine, 2 surgical blades, 3 rosaries in my hands. God help me. That will have to be enough. And that is the story of Lily aboard the moving vessel of Britannia as a medic. It's been a little bit while. I did miss an upload last week because I was taking a break. And also, I just wanted to know your thoughts on whether you would actually read if I decided to publish these short stories on a site called Royal Roads. And otherwise from that, do like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the trenches.